Penguin Random House Audio presents The Second Coming, a novel, by Garth Hallberg. Read for you by Gail Shalan and Fliakos. For Amos, Walter, Nora, and Soren, resurrections all. Against the dark wall, a figure appears slowly, a changeling. Kidnapped. James Joyce. Ulysses. I am that name you give me, but I am also something else that cannot quite be named. The relation to the unnameable is perhaps a way of maintaining a relation to the other that exceeds any and all capture. Judith Butler. Reply from Judith Butler. Prologue. To whom it may concern. They were just kids then, despite everything, and full of hope. So at first the window size must have seemed a selling point. Only after the move-in would they discover how badly the glass had been compromised. By which point it was already too late. The putty of the sash having long since failed, moisture had knifed its way in, so that a residue of atmospheric solids, bus fumes and boiler fumes and exhaust from the Chinese place downstairs, scumbled both the upper and lower panes. This was a window for looking at, not out of. Yet sometimes with daylight and southern exposure, that could feel like enough. Even the November of his second collapse, his first of the new millennium, there could come an hour when the sun found some deep grain in the water stains, and the whole window became like a wall of pale wedding band gold, or a waterfall, he now thinks, with a hollowed-out place to stand behind. He could sit in his life as the Romans did in their baths, and feel in his heart like it wasn't just some fuck-up brought him here. Then he reminds himself that he's not here. Not really. As far as his wife knows, he's still working a lunch shift downtown to cover preschool tuition, or trying to revive his abandoned poems at the big library on 42nd Street. She'll come in past sunset, somehow laden even after the stroller is stowed and the bag set down, and having hidden any trace of his real day, he'll affect in the most minimal of ways to have arrived home only minutes ahead. Keys dropped on the counter near the door, and a lamp or two switched off that by day he's had on. But oh, the night. The night in this city is like a magician's coat, full of false linings and pockets you can't reach the bottoms of. And no sooner has it dropped than he can feel this apartment, their refuge, being altered right down to the smell, which becomes, for instance, the slightly seaweedy smell of a beach house her family rented half a decade back, the slightly seedy cushion of an old porch glider on a night when he'd had one too many. Though, of course, that was another trick, wasn't it? 2 different locations, 2 slightly different times. Only at the first had she offered to take off her clothes. She had been, even then, a girl of good sense, brilliant and self-contained, and lancingly pretty. A survivor, which was part of why she'd stood for him in the silvery light she did. They'd lain together in one place, while in the window of the other, glass rippled. Bees bumbling around hydrangeas, a dry-docked catamaran, 2 heavy-limbed old evergreens, beyond which the day-bright day was never going to end. Now there's his breath, with everything it might give away. The moaning thing he does, unless he sleeps on his stomach. Did I never moan before? He wants to ask. Did my breathing never stop? But no. What is between them started with the fact now weighing on her. This other life. Their little girl. It is true that the crying that first year after her arrival came almost on the hour, attended by surges in the adrenaline spectrum, panic and desperation, the emotions least congenial to sleep. But of course, quiet too can induce a sort of panic, at those hours of the night when dads count hazards instead of sheep. Radon. Toys purpose-built for choking. Is there a more terrible phrase, or excellent name for a thrash metal band, than sudden infant death? Before he is even aware of it, he is up and crossing the dark to check on her. Brushing back the door, he reminds himself that she is 4 now, and himself 24, a grown man. From the gray plane of the bed, shapes swim into relief. A cataract of sheets, the night's bunch of books. But where is the body? The life burning furiously inside? There, buried down at the center, away from the cold. He thinks of doing another tuck-in. Then of the messenger bag, where he's stashed a last pill and one of his few remaining liquor bottles, easily enough recovered to be plausibly not hidden at all. What can't quite resolve itself, as he steals back out to bed, is the window. If it could just stay its daytime self, extend its shelter made of light. But in the night, you have to open it a crack against steam heat or street heat. And in the night, the steep ascender of the fire escape gets printed on the translucence. Green, then yellow, then red with the traffic signal down at the corner. And in the night these days, it's the shadows that demand attention. When he was his daughter's age, this one might have looked like a monster. Now it is a ladder leading to a spacecraft hovering just out of view. The lack of exterior weeping or screams would seem to confirm it. His is the last life left unvaporized in New York. And even now, the craft has begun to scan with these probes, red for heart, green for mind. It can see in advance what he is about to do, though probably not why he is about to do it, since that's something he was hoping the booze might tell him. He is just considering waking Sarah up and risking the truth, what he's been holding inside for these last months, years, and how far he's ready to go to avoid repeating it. But before he can finish the thought, something out there beyond the window stirs. It hasn't occurred to him till now that no signal has been discussed. The old ones seem to work just fine. But here comes this new thing again. The green going a paler green, then dark again, then paler again, twice. A visitor from a far planet, or just the person closest to his own true self. He hasn't heard an engine running. He hopes the car isn't stolen this time. Perhaps his mind's already made up, though, because there on the knob of the bathroom door hangs the denim jacket of his youth. 3 hours 20 each way, this time of night. If he isn't back before they wake, he tells himself, or if he is, but his absence gets noted, he can claim to have just slipped out for a long walk. He undoes the several locks, deft as any Houdini, goes down. The car is parked this side of the street, but aimed away, like there's no worry he won't come. It gives him a feeling of wanting to call this trip off, frankly, just to prove that he's still free. But maybe through some conjunction of pains and mirrors, he's being watched after all, since a dome light blinks on under the oblong strap to the roof. He stops to catch his breath. The sidewalk glimmers, gutters. And at this point, from the psych ward where I now sit writing all this, I want to mix in sound, warn him of what he's forgetting in his jacket pocket. But every time I try it, calling to him across the years, I can feel a whole ocean rushing in to fill my mouth, my throat, and being dragged back under. And now my voice is trapped somewhere inside. The voice of a parent withheld from a child. The voice of Charlie Brown's mom, forever overheard. Still, does something make it through? Because for a second, he does what every story says not to. Looks back. Imagines he sees on the window the glassy outline of the person or persons he's decided he's destined to lose. But likely their sleep even now is that of angels, he thinks. And those human-sized figures are just the same old weather marks, only seen from outside. And right before he steps off the curb and into the rest of his life, this shadow I can still feel hanging over me. My father. He will catch himself wondering if it has ever been possible, or even desirable, to have the one without the other. The hugeness without the compromise. All that exposure without any flaws. 1. Underland. Winter to spring, 2011. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. W.B. Yeats, The Second Coming. 1. All life is suffering. Well, duh, Jolie would remember thinking. The one time Roshi Steve ever stooped to bullet point the noble truths of Buddhism. Her phone
Sample complete. Ready to continue?